it appear on my stream there.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this Tetris 99 train.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with, so of course you said you know the basics, but
Yes.
I'm going to kind of back up and just pretend that
I know nothing. Sure.
So the first most important part of Tetris here is planning. People like to play fast, and speed is absolutely critical to winning games. But more important than speed is planning ahead and knowing where you're going to put your next piece. So let's talk a little bit about that. So the basic concepts is just to create as flat of a surface as possible. You never want to have more than one valley or
like a hole in the...
You never want to have more than one well is the term used.
Well. Okay.
You would define a well as more than 2 blocks, something that would require a straight line piece to fill, and we're going to look at that, so don't worry.
Okay.
We're going to look at this.
I think the visual will help me when I see
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. So the concept here is we're just going to talk basic concepts, and then we're going to go in and actually look at slides.
Okay.
So if you have multiple options on where to place a piece, like let's say you've got, and we're going to look at this too, but let's say you've got a J piece or a T piece or something like that.
Yeah, I call it. Is that the L?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can either put it against this wall or that wall. Well, if you end up making something that's going to require that you can only get out of with another piece.
Oh, it needs a pair to go.
It's called a dependency.
Okay.
If you can avoid creating dependencies, that's going to be good.
Keep your options open.
And we talked a little bit about planning. So always plan ahead. You should never hard drop a piece. Hard drop means like drop a piece immediately.
That means fire it straight down.
Stand it straight down.
Yeah.
You should never hard drop a piece without first knowing where your next piece is
So
going.
you should be looking at that next piece, even before you finish the current piece, so you can be planning ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of times when you see the higher level players, when you watch some of the higher level players play, you might see them make mistakes. So what they were actually doing was placing the next piece.
Okay.
Where they've just placed a piece wrong because they were actually looking at the piece that you think they were. They were looking ahead, and their mind just.
And you can basically see 4 pieces ahead while you play.
You can see 4, but for beginners, I would suggest just worry about the next piece.
Just look at that.
Just worry about the next
one.
piece.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And as you already mentioned, don't forget that you can hold pieces. That is a new concept.
When you say hold, it's like when you get near the bottom and you're spinning it and it keeps it from going in.
Yeah, so you have a queue of pieces coming. So let's say you've got a T piece coming. You decide, hey, I really don't have anywhere for this T piece. Let me go ahead and save that for later.
Oh, the change out.
You can swap them
So
out.
yeah, I don't like this piece. Give me a different one, and that one's kind of on hold, and you can bring it back when you're ready.
Right.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Hey, Outlaw Shaw, thanks for dropping by, man. I appreciate that. Have fun on your stream. Hey, DJ, nice to see you. We are just doing some Tetris training here with Dr. D. I'll go ahead and share the multi-link if you guys want to see it from both perspectives. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next section here.
Okay.
So what we're looking at here is an actual,
Yes, I see the pieces.
See the pieces.
And when you said T piece, the purple, for example, that's a T
so
piece.
we're just going to kind of back out of these. So I like to just kind of practice this way.
Interesting.
That way you don't have the pressure.
It's like a little scratch pad. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So if this were my pieces, whenever I talk about having a flat board, let me just pretend that these are just coming in here. So I'm going to kind of lay these down flat, and that's just my starting piece right here. So now this is my next piece that's coming up.
The top is the next.
The top is next, and you can kind of see that with the arrow here. So now I have this my next piece. So I can decide, do I want to play this piece down here, or do I want to hold it and save it for later? I'm going to go ahead and play it just because it's the beginning of the game. I have a nice spot for it. So remember, you always want to stack flat. So if your options here to lay this down are either flat like this
on the 3 side,
or on the 2 side.
I'm thinking the 3.
Since we want to you always give preference to flat. So we want to go ahead and lay this guy down.
Okay.
And we just put him right here.
Not in the corner.
You could do them in the corner, but traditional Tetris, like classic Tetris, you would want to have a well right here so that you could get a clear Tetris line for later.
You want to build up for like a big clearance later. Okay.
So we're going to talk through like classic styles first, and then we're going to get into the more of the advanced stuff later.
Okay.
But I would say for someone just starting out, just stick with classic Tetris. So you can have a well on one side or the other. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So now this next piece, we can just lay this guy flat. And so now we've got that. Now we're starting to build up a little bit of a well here.
Now I see the well building on the left.
Now this guy, we don't
There's no good spot
There's
for
no
it.
good spot for it.
Nope.
We could lay them flat.
On those yellow,
We
orange?
could put them here.
Yeah.
But that kind of, there's really no reason for it. I think it's better just go ahead and hold them.
Oh, and
So
so that's...
if you press your trigger button, you can hold it.
Okay.
And now this is going to be your next piece. So now you're holding this one. I'm
Okay.
sorry, so now this is your next one?
That's coming out of the cube.
Now, since you held this one, you can't hold
I can't
this
hold
one.
anymore.
You can in a minute after you play this one, but you can't hold it twice.
Okay, so you can't do back-to-back holds.
Right.
But like on the green piece, if I hit hold, it's going to swap out whatever's in hold and put the green into hold.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and play through that. So now we've held this T piece. Let's go ahead and lay this one. We'll go ahead and lay this one flat and just do this. So really we can just put it right here.
Okay.
And then now this one's coming up. So now we have to decide, do we want this green piece or do we want this purple piece? So in looking at this with our head, with our mind, if we kind of rotate this, this one could go nicely right here.
Yes.
That would probably be the best spot for it. You could stand it up, but see what standing it up does is now that creates a dependency.
Why?
That can only be filled with.
Oh, you're right.
that.
That's the only piece that can go in there now.
It's the only piece that.
Everything else is like, oh, I don't want that, and then you get frustrated.
So the only thing that goes there is that piece. So that we don't want to do that. So we're better to go ahead and just put this up here. That way we give ourselves more options. Now, of course, is this for real gameplay? Our pieces would have continued coming in.
Right. So that's just limited, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to go ahead and skip it. So here's just another example of like a nice clean stack like that.
And there's your well. And is now the time to put that in there?
You could, or what I would personally do is just like hold this because we don't need it yet.
Oh, save it and then get up to 4, and then you could drop it in and get the max.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to pretend we're kind of in the middle of the gameplay here.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to play this, and then I'm going to turn it over to you for the next screen. I'm going to have you do it.
So there'll be pieces, and I'll try to place them where I think. Okay.
Yep. So I've got this one coming in next. I don't have a great spot for this. I could put it here.
Yeah, that doesn't seem bad.
It's not terrible, but I'm getting kind of like peaky. When you say peaky, like it's getting uneven.
Your goal is to stay more flat.
You want to stay as flat as possible. I could put it here, which is okay. But what I think I would like to do is hold this piece.
Bring the orange
in. And then bring the orange in and just lay this guy flat across here.
Across the greens.
Across the greens.
Okay.
Now I'm leveling out a bit, which is nice.
Yeah.
Now I've got this T piece coming up next. I'm going to go ahead and use the T piece and place it right here. That's, again, flattening me out.
That's what I was thinking, too. Yeah.
And then now I can take this red piece or this green piece. Which one do I want? It really doesn't matter because ultimately what I'm going to do is this.
Don't you need the green to go in that last
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ultimately, I'm going to put
I
this
see. You
here.
can actually use both. Okay,
yeah, I'm going to end up using both. But yeah, that's what I'm going to end up doing. Because I've got this one coming up next.
Oh, you already looked
ahead. And you always want to save these. If you have the chance, you want to save these. So we're going to ahead and save this one.
Because if you put it in there now, you'd only get 3 rows. Your goal is to get 4 rows, if you can. Okay.
Yeah. And then so next we've got this one coming up. So this one again, if I have the chance, I want to lay it flat, and there's a nice opening right there.
Yeah, perfect. That gives you your 4th row.
Yeah. And then our last block right here, we're just going to go ahead and just do this. And then depending on what was coming up next, we would be ready to clear this.
Would you really mess around? You've already at the position of having 4 rows. Why did you bring yellow in? Why didn't you just go straight to that?
You absolutely could do that.
They're both fine?
They're both fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that is fine. That's a perfectly fine option.
Yeah.
So now let's go ahead and have you do the same thing. So this is your stack. This is how you're starting.
Okay.
I will do the driving. That way we don't have to worry about passing.
So I just tell you where I would put this.
Okay. Yeah. So if you had the choice between this, you go ahead.
Okay. So if I had to choose between taking out of hold or going for the blue, I think my first thought is I could take that T piece and put it on top of the purple and orange.
Right here?
And it would still be, flip it around.
Flip it over,
and then it would still be fairly flat. You said try to keep things flat. And if I had to play that blue, I could hold it. I could also play it down there, but then I'm no higher than that row.
Yeah.
That might be my thought to play that there. Now the orange, I guess I could do the same thing on the other side like I did with the blue, and now I'm still filling those rows and I'm protecting the well in the middle. Now, because I don't want to take the well yet because I'm only 3 rows high, I might hold.
Okay.
But I'm worried that I may not be able to fill in those gaps with these pieces. Let me see. Okay, no, I can actually. Oh, with one of them I can. So my first thought is that red could go on those oranges to give me that fourth,
Right here?
yeah, right
Yep.
there, because now I'm close to getting 4 rows, but that green does not go well in that spot. So now I'm a little confused. Do I maybe throw the green off the left just to get it
Yep.
out of the way and wait for some pieces?
Yep.
And then hope for like a yellow square or
Yep.
something that can go into that, like an L. Any L piece or square could give me that 4th row.
Yep.
So that would be my thinking. I don't know if that's what you would have
Yeah,
done.
that's great.
Okay.
Um,
It is a little peaky, as you said, on the left, but it's probably not going to hurt me too much. As soon as I get that 4th thing to go down, it'll be
that's
right.
fine.
Yeah.
That's great. So you thought ahead.
Yeah.
You didn't rush it. That's great. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go into the next getting out of trouble.
Which that